All right, it's now about a little after 9:30 on Wednesday the 27th of November. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and we have lots to be thankful for, at least in terms of the night sky. For earlier this evening, around 7:15, I was able to do a recap of the NGC 600-700 series, and now I'm going to push on for the first time in about 10 months to continue the NGC series from 1000 to 1049 and perhaps beyond. All in this series is pretty much now culminating. So we're going to lose some things further north, but I will go as deep south as I can. The sky is chancy, but I have only had a very few opportunities to do astro over the last 3 weeks due to the weather here in the great Northwest. So let's push on. Well, our first non-view for the evening is almost directly overhead. We're getting quite a bit of aperture block in the scope. This is supposed to be NGC 1000, a galaxy in Andromeda, magnitude 15.5, rather largish for that magnitude, 0.8 by 0.8 arc minutes. It's considered a compact galaxy, however, 196 million light years distant. Probably means it's somewhere around 50,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension now with the NGC 1000 series of 2 hours, 38 minutes and 49 seconds with a declination of plus 41 degrees, 27 minutes and 35 seconds. I think we'll be lucky to get a third of the aperture of the scope onto this study, but at least we've now gathered the data. Although the stars look pretty fair. Very close to NGC 1000 in Andromeda is NGC 1001, a galaxy in Perseus. Brighter, magnitude 14.5, but smaller, 0.7 by 0.3 arc minutes, spiral with a lowercase bc, 218 million light years distant. We're at right ascension, 2 hours, 39 minutes, 12 seconds, with a declination of plus 41 degrees, 40 minutes, and 17 seconds, and we're also experiencing roof tri-aperture block. What we're seeing here now, unblocked by the roof tri and nearly culminating, well, actually it may be blocked a little bit, is NGC 1002, a galaxy in Triangulum. It's also NGC 983, magnitude 13.1, 1.2 by 0.9 arc minutes, spiral with a bar and lowercase b, 214 million light years distant, right ascension, 2 hours, 38 minutes, 55 seconds, with a declination of plus 34 degrees, 37 minutes and 20 seconds. It would have been nice if I had been able to get out earlier this evening. However, the battery did not charge up on the Sony Handycam until 9:30. It would have been far finer if I had been able to get out at 9 o'clock. But let's go ahead. We're going to get a better view of galaxies to the deep south, having sacrificed the ones further north. Here we have NGC 1003, a galaxy in Perseus, magnitude 11.4, large, 5.7 by 2.2, arc minutes in size, spiral with a lowercase c. I am quaking down here. It is cold. 35 million light years distant, puts this somewhere around the size of our own Milky Way at about 90,000 light years. We're at right ascension, 2 hours, 39 minutes, 16 seconds, with a declination of plus 40 degrees, 52 minutes, and 20 seconds. Our next galaxy is going to be further south in Cetus. Keeping in mind that unlike the summary series, I'm trying to capture everything I can that may be visible to the scope this evening, because we are exploring the NGC catalog, and we're starting at 1000 and going to 1049. This is NGC 1004, it's a galaxy in Cetus the Whale, magnitude 12.7, 1.4 by 1.2 arc minute, elliptical, 290 million light years distant. We are at 2 hours, 37 minutes, 41 seconds of right ascension with a declination of almost 2 degrees, 1 degree, 58 minutes, and 29 9 seconds. Heading north once again, and we will get aperture block. Here I'm hoping we'll see something of NGC1005 Galaxy in Perseus. Magnitude 14.5, 0.9 by 0.4 arc minutes, so fairly apparently sized large. It's a lenticular spiral, 202 million light years distant. That puts this one maybe around 60,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension, 2 hours, 39 minutes, 27 seconds, with a declination of plus 41 degrees, 29 minutes, and 34 seconds. Doesn't look like there's much on the screen. We are getting some aperture block, and perhaps a considerable amount at that. Here we are going south again at Cetus, the belly of the whale, NGC1006 Galaxy. It's also NGC1010, magnitude 13.6, 0.9 by 0.8 arc minutes. It's a spiral of class C, thrice removed from lenticular. 208 million light years distant means this one's probably somewhere around 60,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension, 2 hours, 37 minutes, 34 seconds, with a declination of minus 11 degrees, 1 minute, and 33 seconds. Not a bad field of view, and the galaxy is quite present right there at the tip of my finger. Further north in Cetus, we've landed on NGC 1007 Galaxy. Magnitude 15.5, about the normal size, maybe a little small. 0.6 by 0.2 arc minute spiral with a bar and a ring. We'll be lucky to make out the bar, any extension of the core as a bar, and the ring will be beyond our capabilities. Typically, to see a ring, you got to be a sub-13th magnitude galaxy. This galaxy is 312 million light years distant, puts it at about 60,000 light years in diameter, has a right ascension of 2 hours, 37 minutes, 52 seconds, with a declination of 2 degrees, 9 minutes, and 18 seconds. And if I sound like I'm rushing, it is because I need to generate some body heat. A couple of clicks from NGC 1007 is a brighter galaxy, 1008 in Cetus. Magnitude 13.6, 0.8 by 0.6 arc minutes, kind of smallish, but it is an elliptical, so they are fairly condensed. This one is 295 million light years distant, probably 70,000 light years in diameter, or even less, with a right ascension of 2 hours, 37 minutes, 55 seconds, and a declination of 2 degrees positive, 4 minutes, and 45 seconds. Very close to our last two studies is NGC 1009, Galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 14.4, but a great 7:1 aspect ratio. Sorry for this trails of stars. I'm quaking down here, and it's probably transmitting it through the floorboards into the mount. This galaxy, as mentioned, is magnitude 14.4, 1.4 by 0.2 arc minutes, spiral with a lowercase b, 263 million light years distant, so it's probably about 90 to 100,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension, 2 hours, 38 minutes, 19 seconds, with a declination of plus 2 degrees, 18 minutes, and 34 seconds. Our next study would be NGC 1010, but that was also NGC 1006. Pushing on, we're going to go to another galaxy in Cetus, but another 10 degrees or so further south. NGC 1011, another galaxy in Cetus the Whale, faintish, magnitude 15, 0.6 by 0.6 arc minutes, so roughly the size you might expect. Spiral of the lowercase a, once removed from lenticular, 217 million light years distant. Probably means this is about 40 to 50,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension, 2 hours, 37 minutes, 38 seconds, but our declination is minus 11 degrees and 21 seconds. I do believe the galaxy is quite apparent in the field, but there are several others that it could easily be mistaken for. Our next study is NGC 1012, the galaxy in Aries, the Ram. Magnitude 12, 2.5 by 1.1 arc minutes, spiral with a lowercase a, 44 million light years distant. This one's pretty small, maybe 30,000 light years in diameter. We are getting some aperture block, despite the fact we are at right ascension 2 hours, 39 minutes, 14 seconds, with a declination of plus 30 degrees, 9 minutes, and 5 seconds. Sorry for that, folks. We got a rather late start due to the battery needing to charge up from the Sony Handycam after a previous observing session this very evening. Here we should have NGC1013, galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 14.8 by 0.6 arc minutes. Spiral with a lowercase a, once removed from lenticular, fairly distant, 369 million light years, puts this one about the size, maybe a little smaller than our own Milky Way. It's at right ascension 2 hours, 37 minutes, 50 seconds, with a southerly declination of minus 11 degrees, 30 minutes, and 26 seconds. Look for it somewhere on the screen. I do believe it may be right about there, at least the core of it. NGC 1015 is another galaxy in Cetus, but this one is up closer to the equator and quite bright, reasonably bright. Magnitude 12.1 and large, 2.6 by 2.6 arc minutes apparent size. Spiral with a bar and a lowercase a, 113 million light years distance, so this one's probably about 70,000 light years in diameter. We're at a right ascension 2 hours, 38 minutes, 11 seconds, declination minus 1 degree, 19 minutes, and 7 seconds. And that is our look. NGC 1016 is another galaxy in Cetus, but brighter, magnitude 11.6, fairly large, 2.3 by 2.3 arc minutes. It is an elliptical class 0, a perfectly spherical, fully mature elliptical galaxy, 295 million light years distant. And this one's fairly large. It's probably somewhere larger than Messier 31, about 160,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 2 hours, 38 minutes, 19 seconds, with a declination of plus 2 degrees, 7 minutes, and 7 seconds. And it is quite brilliant on the screen. Things seem to have been drifting a little bit from the center line to the left of the screen as we have proceeded. NGC 1017 is another galaxy in Cetus the Whale, magnitude 14.7 by 0.6 arc minutes. It is an irregular galaxy, 217 million light years distant. Given its distance and its size and its brightness, it's rather unusual for an irregular galaxy to be this bright. So I'm surprised by that. Right ascension is 2 hours, 37 minutes, 49 seconds, with a declination of minus 11 degrees and 39 seconds. Hopefully we can identify this 14th magnitude galaxy somewhere reasonably on the screen. NGC 1018 is another one of those galaxies in the Whale. Magnitude 15, 1 by 0.6 arc minute, spiral with a bar, lenticular, between a lenticular and an A, so a half-time removed. Fairly distant, 591 million light years, given its 1 arc minute apparent size. This baby is probably some 175,000 light years in diameter. Right ascension is 2 hours, 38 minutes, 10 seconds, with a declination of minus 9 degrees, 32 minutes, and 41 seconds. Hopefully we'll turn it up somewhere on the screen, but not tonight. Boy, we are really jamming them in tonight. I bet you we'll get close to the 50 we might expect between 1000 and 1049. NGC 1019 is another galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 13.5, 1 by 0.9 arc minutes, spiral with a bar in lowercase bc, 324 million light years distant, puts it about the size of our own Milky Way, maybe 90,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 2 hours, 38 minutes, 27 seconds, with a declination of plus 1 degree, 54 minutes, and 26 seconds. Well, I'm hoping I captured NGC 1020, but this is NGC 1021. It's a galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 14.2, 0.7 by 0.5 arc minutes, spiral with a lowercase bc, 258 million light years distant. We're at right ascension 2 hours, 38 minutes, 47 seconds, with a declination of 2 degrees 13 minutes in the northerly direction. I'll allow it to develop a little bit as we get to our next one, 1022, which is a larger, brighter galaxy in Cetus. NGC 1022 is quite apparent on the screen. Galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 11.3, 2.6 by 2.5 arc minutes. Spiral with a bar, but a lowercase a, 64 million light years distant, probably puts this one somewhere around 50,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 2 hours, 38 minutes, 32 seconds, with a southerly declination of -6 degrees, 40 minutes, and 39 seconds. Our next galaxy is likely to be too far north. We'll get some aperture block, but let's chase it down anyway and we'll capture the data. Well, we're getting very little aperture on NGC 1023. It's a galaxy in Perseus, magnitude 9.4. We're really missing out on this one. 8.1 by 3.4 arc minutes, 33 million light years distant. Puts this somewhere around 70,000 light years in diameter. It's an elliptical 7 with some peculiarities, so it's probably recently had lunch. Its right ascension is 2 hours, 40 minutes, and 23 seconds, with a declination of plus 39 degrees, 3 minutes, and 46 seconds, which explains why we are getting aperture block, because the roof try is between us and the galaxy. There was an NGC 1023A, but given the aperture block, I did not want to pursue it. This is NGC 1024, Galaxy in Aries, magnitude 12.1, 3.9 by 1.5 arc minutes, nice aspect ratio. Suboblate, spiral with a lowercase ab, 158 million light years distant, puts this one probably around 160 to 170,000 light years in diameter. Its right ascension is 2 hours, 39 minutes, and 11 seconds, with a positive declination to the north of 10 degrees, 50 minutes, and 49 seconds. We are getting a clear view with the aperture, although the scope is beginning to tilt to the west. This is really going to be an interesting challenge this evening. NGC 1026 is a galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 12.6, 2 by 1.8 arc minute, lenticular spiral, class O, 188 million light years distant, with a right ascension of 2 hours, 39 minutes, and 19 seconds, and a declination of 6 degrees, 32 minutes, and 37 seconds. It's really questionable whether or not we're going to get through the 1049 this evening, but we will give it our best shot. Our next study is NGC 1028 after skipping over a too far north open cluster in Cassiopeia. NGC 1028 is a galaxy in Aries, magnitude 15.5, 3 to 1 aspect ratio, 0.9 by 0.3 arc minutes, spiral with a bar and lowercase c, 383 million light years distant. So it's about 100,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 2 hours, 39 minutes, 37 seconds, with a northerly declination of plus 10 degrees, 50 minutes, and 36 seconds. NGC 1028 had a neighbor, NGC 1029, another galaxy in Aries, magnitude 13.1, more than a 3 to 1 aspect ratio, 1.4 by 0.4 arc minutes, spiral of the lowercase a class, 163 million light years distant, maybe 60,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 2 hours, 39 minutes, 36 seconds, with a declination of plus 10 degrees, 47 minutes, and 34 seconds. The sky is looking very nice up there right now, from what I can tell. We're now at NGC 1030, Galaxy in Aries, magnitude 13.2, 1.6 by 0.7 arc minute, spiral with a lowercase bc, 384 million light years distant, means it's larger than Messier 31, maybe 170,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 2 hours, 39 minutes, 50 seconds, with a declination of plus 18 degrees, 1 minute, and 26 seconds. And Jupiter is now well into the sky's middle third, about 15 degrees east of the Pleiades. Here we have another nice, brightish and largish galaxy in Cetus, NGC 1032, galaxy, Magnitude 11.6, 3-to-1 aspect ratio, 3.4 by 1.1. It's a spiral with a lowercase a, some 120 million light years distant, so it's probably about 100,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 2 hours, 39 minutes, 23 seconds, with a declination of 1 degree, 5 minutes, and 35 seconds. And the galaxy is quite apparent up towards the top of the screen. Well, the mount just ran away on me, so hopefully NGC1033 is what I was going for. Twice now, the mount has gone to an extreme position and locked up, so I've had to manually reposition it, and then, of course, during that process, remembering what galaxy I was going after becomes problematic. NGC1033 is a galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 14, 1.2 by 1 arc minutes. So spiral of a lowercase c, 327 million light years distant, puts it about the size of our Milky Way, maybe a little larger, maybe 90 to 100,000 light years in diameter. Did I already cover this? It's at right ascension 2 hours, 40 minutes, and 16 seconds, with a declination of -8 degrees, 46 minutes, and 37 seconds. Our next galaxy is NGC1034. Let's head to it next. Looking at the screen, NGC1034 is pretty far south. It's a galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 14, 0.9 by 0.7 arc minute, irregular galaxy, 67 million light years distant, probably no more than 25,000 light years in diameter. This is a galaxy in the early stages of formation, and the best way to tell that is to look for the delta between the blue-violet and the visual magnitude, and if it's down next to a half a magnitude difference, you know it's a young galaxy. It's at right ascension 2 hours, 38 minutes, 13 seconds, with a declination of -15 degrees, 48 minutes, and 34 seconds. The screen looks a little luminous, but the galaxy, I do believe, is present up in that region of the screen. NGC1035 is a brightish galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 12.2, with a great aspect ratio of 2.2 to 0.6. Spiral with a lowercase c, so the core isn't going to be that brilliant, 53 million light years distant. It's got a right ascension of 2 hours, 39 minutes, 29 seconds, and a declination of -8 degrees, 7 minutes, and 58 seconds. Our next galaxy is going to be in the Ram. Ooh, that is quite a view right there, isn't it? I anticipate some aperture block here. NGC1036, galaxy in Aries, magnitude 13.2, 1.5 by 1.1 arc minute. It is a peculiar galaxy, 38 million light years distant, so quite small, probably somewhere around 10,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 2 hours, 40 minutes, and 29 seconds, with a declination of +19 degrees, 17 minutes, and 49 seconds. We are seriously getting squeezed in by the late hour in the 1000 to 1049 series. However, we are getting good views to the south. NGC1037 is a galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 14.5, nice aspect ratio, 1.1 to 0.4 arc minutes. Spiral with a bar with a lowercase b. 380 million light years distant, puts this at over 100,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 2 hours, 37 minutes, 58 seconds, with a declination of -1 degree, 50 minutes, and 39 seconds. NGC1038 is another galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 13.4, nice 3-to-1 aspect ratio, 1.2 by 0.4 arc minutes. Spiral with a lowercase a, 272 million light years distant, so probably about 75,000 to 80,000 light years in diameter, roughly the size of our Milky Way, a little smaller. Right ascension 2 hours, 40 minutes, 6 seconds, with a declination of 1 degree, 30 minutes, and 30 seconds. Our next study is an open cluster in Perseus, too far north. There's a galaxy in Perseus too far north, is 1040. Another galaxy in Cetus, however, which we should be able to get full aperture on. NGC1041, that galaxy in Cetus, is magnitude 14, 1.7 by 1.3 arc minutes, so the parent size is fairly large, lenticular spiral, and it is 315 million light years distant, putting it at roughly the size of Messier 31, about 150,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 2 hours 40 minutes and 25 seconds with a declination of -5 degrees 26 minutes and 25 seconds. Sky looks a little pixelated there. There's probably high atmospheric ice crystals and water, but the galaxy is quite present. Okay, this is a galaxy worth looking for. NGC1042, galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 11, 4.9 by 4 arc minutes, which means it's probably something around average surface brightness between 14 and 15, spiral with a bar, lowercase c, 60 million light years distant, means this galaxy is probably about 75 to 80,000 light years in real diameter. Right ascension is 2 hours 40 minutes and 23 seconds with a southerly declination of -8 degrees 26 minutes and 1 second. Yes, it is quite present on the screen, although things are drifting a little bit to the left as we progress through the evening. Perhaps the faintest galaxy of the evening, although you can never tell because you don't know whether you're seeing the blue-violet or the violet magnitude with the values that are on the handset. NGC1043 is a galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 15.5, edgy on 0.9 by 0.2 arc minutes. It would be nice if we could see that this was edge on at magnitude 15.5. It's a spiral with a lowercase b, 305 million light years distance, so probably somewhere around 80,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 2 hours 40 minutes 46 seconds with a declination of northerly 1 degree 20 minutes and 33 seconds. I'll allow this one to develop a little bit as we go for our next, which is a galaxy in Cetus. Our next study, NGC 1044, is further north than our last study. It's a galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 13.2, 0.5 by 0.5 arc minutes, lenticular spiral with peculiarities, 283 million light years distant, has a right ascension of 2 hours 41 minutes and 6 seconds, and a declination of +8 degrees 44 minutes and 16 seconds. Should be quite apparent on the screen given its northerly declination and brightness. Our next galaxy will be another one, but way further south in the sea. Well folks, in going to NGC 1045, the scope wants to do a equatorial lift, and I have yet to align it with any, although it has a model in the scope, I will have to do a synchronization to be able to pick out anything with any certainty. It's going to take a few more minutes. Fortunately, the battery has plenty of charge in it, and I hope that we will be able to complete the NGC 1000 to 1049 series this very evening without me solidifying into an ice cube. So there, you can hear the scope now doing the flip. I will turn off the camera and we will proceed with some kind of a synchron. Okay, here's where we ended up, and I doubt we're going to see anything of the galaxy in here. So let me go ahead and give you the data on it, and then I will proceed with some kind of synchronization, although I'm fumble fingering right now because I've got gloves on. NGC 1045, I believe, is what we were after. NGC 1045 is a galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 13, 2.3 by 1.2 arc minute lenticular spiral, 205 million light years distant, with a right ascension of 2 hours 40 minutes and 29 seconds, and a declination of -11/1641. I think we will look for Fomalhaut because it has progressed west and see where it ended up on the screen. Well, Fomalhaut wasn't available to me on the list. I went to Hamal, and Hamal is not apparent on the screen, so let me do a synchronization using the finder scope. Okay, and now have Hamal lined up. It wasn't too far away in the finder scope, so that was promising. We're going to go see if we can center on Messier 33 before we go to 1045. Well, given the temperature right now, I would like to say that Messier 33 is our Carpe Noctem view, but I've got possibly as many as 5 more NGCs before we can knock off, but not bad. So the digital alignments and mechanical alignments I did over 3 weeks ago are not giving bad results in terms of centering up studies. So we got some confidence now for NGC 1045. Messier 33 looks pretty hot. Here we should have NGC 1045, Galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 13, 2.3 by 1.2 arc-minute lenticular spiral, 205 million light years distant. Probably about a little smaller than Messier 31, right ascension 2 hours 40 minutes and 29 seconds with a declination of southerly of 11 degrees 16 minutes and 41 seconds. Moving on. We should be seeing NGC 1046. It's a magnitude 13.8 Galaxy in Cetus, smallish 0.4 by 0.4, so it should have a high surface brightness. Lenticular spiral, 268 million light years distant with a right ascension of 2 hours 41 minutes 12 seconds and a declination of plus 8 degrees 43 minutes and 9 seconds. Let's check out our next study, another Galaxy in Cetus, of course. NGC 1047 is that other Galaxy in Cetus. We're now westerly facing, magnitude 15, but this is a fairly large galaxy for magnitude 15 in apparent size. 1.3 by 0.6 arc minutes, the spiral of the lowercase a, and the reason it's so large is because it's a mere 59 million light years distant. We're at right ascension 2 hours 40 minutes 32 seconds and a declination of minus 8 degrees 8 minutes and 49 seconds. Our next study is going to be 1048A. NGC 1048A is a galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 14.5, 0.7 by 0.4 arc minutes. Spiral with a bar in lowercase bc. This is 10 times further out than our last study, at 517 million light years. Size is probably somewhere around 110,000 light years in diameter. We are at right ascension 2 hours 40 minutes and 35 seconds with a declination of minus 8 degrees 32 minutes and 49 seconds. Our next study will be 1048B. I'm just going to press the button because I don't think we're going to hop very far. And we didn't. NGC 1048B is another galaxy in Cetus. It is also very distant, 506 million light years, magnitude 14, kind of edgy on 1 by 0.3 arc minutes, spiral with a bar of lenticular and lowercase a. So it's a half removed from the lenticular class with a bar, 506 million light years distant. This one's probably a little larger than the last one, maybe 160,000 light years in diameter. We are at right ascension 2 hours 40 minutes 37 seconds with a declination of minus 8 degrees 32 minutes and 1 second. Let's see what's next. There's a globular cluster in Fornax way far south. Let's see if we can pick this bait. Well, that globular cluster in Fornax was too far south and it pulled the plug on, the imaging system while the camera is still running, so I can capture this information. I'll go ahead and get the information for you, even though we are not going to be able to see it. Fumble figuring around here. NGC 1049. Enter. Had we been looking the other direction, we would not have pulled the plug on the imaging system. NGC 1049 is a globular cluster in Fornax. It's magnitude 12.6, so it would have been tough to pick out. There's some interesting information about it though. It's 1.2 by 1.2 arc minutes and 460,000 light years away. That's more than 10 times most globular clusters' distances. And I will endeavor tomorrow evening, if I have a good sky, to see if I can image this as part of the NGC 1050 to 1099 series, because we will be looking east instead of west. So that's all I'm going to do. We're at right ascension 2 hours, 39 minutes, 48 seconds with a declination of minus 34 degrees, 15 minutes and 28 seconds. And we're going to call this Carpe Noctem.